Before we get started, I just want to show you guys my new shoes.
Ooh, look at how nice they are. They're so cute.
Wow. Anyway, okay, so first of all, looking at this setup and like looking at my room, I get so frustrated because I'm just like, I don't like this. That picture I painted like randomly and I just hung it there because there's already a nail drilled in right there. But there's just so much more I could do with this corner. I kind of want to get like posters, like thin black frames of all my favorite music artists and put them here and like fix the vines a little bit. I don't really know, but I feel like there's potential with this space that I'm not using. Anyway, so I'm gonna take my shoes off, get comfortable, and start answering questions. So basically, I have my knitting project right here that I'm working on. I feel like an old grandma. I have recently got into finger knitting, which is basically this right here, and then you have this ball of string. I'm actually running out. I think I'm gonna run out in this video, but I have to go buy more at Walmart. And you basically just like make this blanket. I'm making a little one for my nephew because he was just born like a few days after my birthday, and so I'm making this blanket for him, but I wanted to make it like this big and square yet. Anyway, so this video I am answering questions about leaving the Amish. If you've not watched my first video on this, I'm going to try to link in like the little eye like information thing that comes down up top. In that video I talk a lot about like I don't really know. I just answer a lot of basic questions there and kind of the backstory to all of it. So if you haven't watched that video already, definitely go watch it. Yeah, it would just kind of make more sense. I think I show some like pictures and random things that I have from when we left. But little backstory on it if you don't want to go watch that one. My family left the Amish community when I was 5 years old. Honestly, that's all up to it. I don't know. But yeah, we left. We didn't quite agree with the culture anymore and the religion and all that, so we chose to leave. We're still Christians, just not denominational Christians and not the Amish sect. They're considered Christians, but they're just a much more conservative sect of it. Anyway, yeah. Also, a few disclaimers. This video, like, please subscribe, but don't subscribe if you're expecting this kind of content all the time from me. This is like, I enjoy making this kind of content, but it's not really the main focus of my channel. I don't want all the content that I make to be like Amish related and mainly focus on that kind of stuff. I do really want to do a cooking with me video, as in like I would make a bunch of Amish recipes that I have, because there's some weird ones that like aren't as publicized as like shoofly pie and wheat pies are, that kind of thing. But there's like some like kind of more secret Amish recipes, and I would love to do a cooking video with all those recipes in them, or in it. So definitely subscribe if you want to see that coming up in the next few weeks. Okay, first question. When you visit your Amish relatives, do you speak Pennsylvania Dutch to them, or do you just speak English? So if you don't know, Pennsylvania Dutch is actually, I need to start knitting my blanket. Pennsylvania Dutch is a language derived from German. Also, sorry if I'm looking down, not the camera. I'm going to be knitting here. It's, yeah, a language derived from German. It's very similar to German. A lot of like German-speaking people can understand Pennsylvania Dutch, but also, when you're Amish, you don't really call it Pennsylvania Dutch, you just call it Amish, like I'm speaking Amish, like if that makes sense. But yeah, so the question, do I speak Amish or my grandparents? And yes, I do. For the most part, I speak English, but I don't want to lose my first language. Like growing up, that's what we spoke, and then when we left, of course, I started speaking English more. And I think it's really cool to grow up bilingual, and so I definitely do try to speak Amish more when I'm around them, but I feel like I would mainly speak English because I get nervous when I'm with them, because I want to speak the Amish language very perfectly and like nicely to them, so I end up just like freaking out and not doing well, so then I just like don't speak it at all. They enjoy listening to me try to speak it and like refresh my memory on it, so they don't really have a preference if I speak Pennsylvania Dutch or if I speak English to them. But I kind of switch in between it, like in between the two languages when I'm with them. So I hope that answers your question. Next question is, what did we do for school after leaving? So when in the Amish school, their schools go through 9 years basically. They have grades 1 through 8 in a little one-room schoolhouse, and typically 1 or 2 teachers depending on how the kids are or like behavior-wise. For your 9th and final grade, you go to either an ex-teacher's house or a teacher in training's house for 1 day, out of every week in the school semester. Then after that, you are done with all your schooling. And at that point you're like 14, so all of my older siblings had gone all the way through the Amish schooling except for my brother and I. I was homeschooled all the way through, and my brother left the Amish school and he went right into homeschooling and then finished high school homeschooling. So that's how we did it, and I feel like if I would have gone to public school, that would have been like a crazy culture shock for me. And sometimes I kind of regret not going because I know I would have really loved sports. I got into sports in like different ways, but I know I would have loved playing sports and being on a team in like public school and doing that kind of stuff. So in that way, I did miss out a little bit, but also I loved the education that I did get and the way that I got it, and also the opportunities that I've had because of homeschooling. So I really can't complain. There's pros and cons to both ways. This question here is, it's one I get randomly, mainly by conservative old grandmas that have an interest in the Amish, and then they see me and they're like, you're not Amish and you don't fit the mold. So you're kind of confused probably. Let me explain. I have a screenshot of a comment that explains it better than this question here does. But so when you leave the Amish, why do you have to go so far away? Example, why do you have to why do you have your nose piercing and pink hair? That's a real slap in the face for your relatives that still remain Amish. If you want to leave, that's fine, but so disgusting to see that nose piercing. I guess you think it makes you look cool or special, but it doesn't. So that comment. I love how somebody replied to that comment and just said shut up, and I was like, but anyway, so basically what she's talking about there is like in the first video that I filmed with like answering Amish questions, I did have pink hair. I have my nose ring still, and I guess she just thought that it was really like ungodly of me in a sense, or like offensive to my remaining Amish family that I would dress in such a way or dye my hair and do those kind of things. So my response to that is, so my Amish cousins, I was kind of scared to show them my pink hair because I was like, I really didn't know how they were going to react. And then once they saw it, they actually thought it was really cool, because I feel like for them, they're kept in that box of they have to dress a certain way, they have to look a certain way and do all these things a certain way. And they're happy that way, but it's still, they find it interesting that I am not in the box that they're in, and I can actually freely express myself in whatever way I want. You know, I can dye my hair if I want to. So my cousin actually thought it looked really cool. And I was talking to my Amish aunt, and she said, this is actually like a really cool, I was like, kind of like, it meant a lot that she actually said this to me. She was like, we understand that we are in, you know, we're in the culture, we have all these rules, but we know that you guys have left the culture, so we're not going to judge you for any decisions that you make because you're no longer under the rules of like the conservative culture, if that makes sense. So yeah, a lot of people have the assumptions that my cousins would be disgusted with me and all the things that I do and the way that I dress, but in reality they're actually very accepting. Now that does not go for every community. You know, most people when they leave they are shunned and it's difficult and pretty rough, but my family definitely got the nice end of the stick, and we were able to associate with our cousins and even, you know, have that kind of relationship where we can have those. Oh no, is my battery dying? Yep, it is. Cool, great. Okay, I didn't get to finish talking about that certain topic because my camera died. So with all that being said, as far as, you know, them respecting my decisions, I still respect them, and when I'm around them I do dress more modestly. I mean, I don't like wear crop tops that much in general, but when I'm with them I don't wear like extra tight jeans, and I wear my mom jeans or loose fitting clothing. So little things like that I'll do just out of respect for them, but it has still been a like massive blessing to see how respectful and open they are to the decisions that like my family and I make. So yeah, next question. Okay, I'm back. My camera died. I didn't write that many questions down, but I do know I got a few questions asking if you can stay with a family, like an Amish family, for a summer, and currently that is not like a thing. You can't do that. I don't know if they'll ever make that a thing, but from what I know, like, I mean, the Amish, they're still pretty private, and like they wouldn't open up their house to have somebody actually come live with them for an entire summer, but that'd be kind of cool if they would. If you hear background noise, that's just my family. They're loud. How many of your Amish relatives or friends have been to your house since it has been modernized? That's actually a really good question, because a little explaining. So when you're Amish, there is this thing that we would call Grishtalkessa, or Christmas dinner. I just noticed in that one part that I said Grishtalkessa and then said Christmas dinner, but actually Grishtalkessa would translate into Christmas eat. There isn't really an Amish word for dinner. It's like some words are English. It's weird. It's really weird. It's a mix of like German, English, I don't know. But that would actually be Christmas eat, not Christmas dinner. But like we always say Christmas dinner. I don't know. It's weird. I just thought that was funny and I only noticed that now after like very many years. I don't know. So that we have every year, and each family takes turns hosting it. So like my cousins would take turn and then come around and then we'll always go full circle. So when we left, we were no longer allowed to host it. We were still invited to the Christmas dinner, but we wouldn't host it at our house. And so that was something that was kind of weird for us. We were no longer allowed to take our turn. Our close cousins that were like so really close with us after leaving, they came over a lot, even right after leaving, but like my grandmother didn't as much, and they just weren't over at our house quite as much. But more recently, it's been like 14 years now. And every year it seems to get better with them. They've been coming to our house a lot more, and they also have something called Sisters Day, which is basically when all of these sisters get together and they'll bake cookies or like, you know, just spend time together. And my mom actually got to host Sisters Day for the first time in those 14 years this past summer, and she was elated. It's like a really cool experience for her to be able to invite her sisters over to our house. And I know they enjoyed it as well because they hadn't seen the inside of our house since it had been modernized. You know, we added electricity and did all those things to it. So it's been kind of fun to watch, you know, our extended family grow and become more and more okay with us leaving. But yeah. Oh, more questions. Somebody said, love that pink hair. Thank you. So this isn't a question, but I was thinking of doing a video with this like idea in it, and then I chose this one over that one because yeah, anyway. So up in my attic we have a ton of Amish clothing from when we left. And the funny thing with that is actually, so like you'd think because of how conservative the Amish dress, they don't really have styles or like things that are in style, but they do. Like they really do. Even with their dresses, there are little things that go in and out of style. If you're somebody looking in from the outside, you really can't notice a difference, but there's very small details like how wide the belt on their apron is or how long their dresses are. I would say they usually fluctuate from like a few inches above the ankle to even being long and down the ankle. Like right now, it's really in style to have very long dresses, where sometimes over the summertime the dresses get more in style to get shorter, which, and of course they aren't short, but they do get shorter, or even how wide your hem is on the bottom of the dress, which is where you fold the fabric back up underneath. Like little things like that are in style or trendy for them. So if you would go and if you would see the clothing that we have up in our attic compared to some of like the newer dresses that my cousins would wear, it actually looks pretty different. It's easier to see the side by side and know what the difference is. But I think it's kind of weird that like even a culture like that goes through trends. A lot of people were asking about TV shows, like Breaking Amish, Amish Mafia, all of those, you know, whatever TV shows. And I usually say with those, typically the actual plot of the TV show it's not accurate at all, but there are a lot of little parts in the TV show that are real. Some good movies, if you do want to watch some like Amish movies, definitely the Shunning series by Beverly Lewis. Again, it's like a romantic novel type style. The plot is not good, but honestly, like the way they are like living out their Amish life in the movie is really good. She also writes a lot of books. Some of them are more accurate than others, but generally like they're actually decently good books. I know some Amish girls actually enjoy reading those just kind of to have a good laugh at what people like to romanticize with their culture. So if you want some books to read, definitely check out Beverly Lewis's books, or even some movies to watch. The Shunning is kind of, it's an okay movie. I enjoyed it when I watched it. Also, I feel like I should explain how their churches work. So basically the Amish don't have a set church building that you go to. They take turns hosting church at each of those houses every other Sunday. So every Amish community is sectioned up into what they would call church districts. I'd say about maybe 10 to 15 families in each district, and then there's one bishop who's the leader of that church for every 2 districts. So they have church every other Sunday, and that bishop kind of flip-flops in between those 2 districts, and then he'll take turns leading like church service every other Sunday. Then on the every other Sunday, the families, they'll either stay home and they'll have like their own Bible study and Sunday school at home with the kids, or they'll actually go visit a neighboring church that is hosting. Personally, I love the Sundays at home, but we get up really late and we make a big breakfast with the family, and we always eat the same thing every Sunday or every other Sunday when we were home. We'd have like waffles and what we called vernagomer, which are Verna potatoes, basically. The lady that invented kind of or created the style of breakfast potatoes, her name was Verna, just like mine. And so we had vernagomer every Sunday morning for breakfast. But just little things, little traditions like that we really enjoyed doing. I'm trying to think of any other questions. If I have any other things, I'll pop in while editing and like add in little clippets and snippets if I have any fun things to add. But I think I am done. I was hoping to finish my blanket in this video, but oh, that's the end of the string, and then I have to go and buy more at Walmart. So I think that's it. So that is the end of my video. I hope you guys enjoy it and have a good rest of your day. I love you. Goodbye.